Here with Sudhi and Suchi.
Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Hear It Here with.
I love that little opera piece that you just
Yeah, I know, but it's always
Fabulous.
for you
For-
and
for
of
me.
course for our guests that I
A
always
very special
this
one.
very special one. He's been extra special for me. Why? Because I played his wife twice, not once, and I've also played his boss, which is kind of the same thing, right?
Right,
Boss,
correct,
wife, same
yes.
thing. But welcome today Rajat Kapoor to the show. Welcome, Rajat.
Thank you, Suchi, Sudhi.
Truly an honor
Sudhi,
having
Sudhi.
you on the show.
Suji. Wow, RK. Now, before anything else, we want you to tell
Wow,
us.
Suchi, Sudhi.
Yeah.
What's going on?
The echo in this room is
It's quite something else. The trailer blew our minds. We were
it's
watching it.
brilliant
Like,
premise.
Thank you, thank you.
Very interesting.
really,
premise.
really interesting. So, what brought about this idea of the film in the first
Oh,
place?
I don't know. Idea came from somewhere.
Yeah.
You never know where ideas come from,
Yeah.
right? Because they come and they trouble you, and you don't know what to do with them.
Yeah.
The bad ones go away after 6 months. The good ones stay with you.
Yes.
Or good ones or troublesome ones stay with you, and they keep nagging at you. And then you try and write it, and it doesn't quite work out the first time. Then you write it again after a few years. So when I wrote it first time, this one about 10 years back, the idea was that RK is a filmmaker
Yes.
even then,
Right.
and one day he loses his reflection in the mirror.
Yeah.
There's no more reflection, and he's worried. He's anxious. What does it mean? And then the reflection comes into the real world and kind of takes over his life.
Yeah.
That was the first
Yeah.
draft. Then it changed, and it came now finally in this form,
Right.
where RK is making a film and the character from the film runs out.
Yeah.
But do you believe in this? I mean, you just mentioned that a little while back, Rajat, that good idea or a bad idea. But they say, right, that if you write something, you should kind of read it after almost about 3 or 4 years, and if it
Sure.
still
Exactly.
is relevant.
Exactly.
Do you follow that method?
Completely.
Yeah?
Like I said, this first draft I wrote in 2010.
Wow.
And then it stayed like that. It didn't quite work.
Right.
The idea was not bad. There is no bad idea.
Right. I was
Yeah.
talking about that.
There is
yeah.
no bad idea.
Correct.
The idea was not bad. But what I could do with it was not up to the mark.
Right.
But because there was something essential in that idea still
Right.
nagging me, so I went back to it and went back to it. There are many scripts that you have chucked,
Right, correct.
It's not working.
But it's fabulous. I mean, I want to kind of get into, before obviously we get into RK, I would really want to kind of get into that entire aspect of your journey. It's been so beautiful.
And so interesting.
Yes, so
Everything he's
interesting.
done, whether it's theatre,
I mean,
whether it's
Chingari is where you started.
That's
with
right,
Delhi,
that's
and then from there FTII and all of that. And you've had these very novel ideas of making films in terms of writing emails to your friends and stuff like that, and getting hold of the money.
It's not such a great thing. It's out of desperation. Because when nobody gives you money, you have to find new ways of
No,
doing
but
it.
that's what I'm trying to get at. The passion has forever been burning as far as you're concerned.
Yeah, the passion has been there.
It's been fabulous. I mean, in terms of, how was it for you to kind of transition, because you wanted to be an actor right from the get-go? No, you didn't?
I wanted to
Okay.
make films.
You, okay, for a minute, okay.
Since I was 15 or 16.
accidental actor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was an accidental actor. But I was certain I'm going to make films.
It's a beautiful accident, by the way. But anyway.
Yeah, I'm also very grateful for it.
Yeah.
And look at that face, look at it.
No, so I went to FTI to study filmmaking.
Okay.
And then I came here, I assisted for 3 years. Two great masters whom I still revere, Mani Kaul and Kumar Shani.
Right.
And I learned everything I know about cinema from them. And then I made a short film in 93 called Tarana for Films Division.
Right.
Then I made a feature film in 95 which never got released for Private Detective.
Right.
And then the next film was 8 years later, Raghu Romeo, for which I had to
Right,
send
yes,
emails.
right, right.
But in between, around 99, 2000, my acting thing started. Somebody gave me an ad.
Yeah.
Saurabh gave me Little Mirchi Thoda Pepper to
Yeah.
act in. Then Nasir had seen me on stage and he recommended me to Meera Nair for Monsoon Wedding. And then I became an actor.
It's been tremendous. I mean,
When
the
it comes
performances.
to theatre, I mean, this film is like as if it's a translation of what you like to do with when you do your theatre. I mean, I just recently watched, I
Nothing
watched
Like Lear.
Nothing Like Lear for the second time again after like 11 years. I watched it again, and just incredible. It's very different what you do, yeah, and Where does that come from, Rajat? I mean, is it something that you've studied, or is it something that, whether it was, introducing your gibberish for Nothing Like Lear, which all of us understood even the first time, it's just incredible. Is that brainstorming, or is that something that comes to you, or what?
Well, it comes as a process in work.
Yeah.
You don't start with ideas of doing this or that, but you follow your instinct and you follow it till the end.
Yeah.
And not give up halfway. It's been said a lot, कि आप बनाते बहुत हटके बनाते हैं. It's very different, but different from what? It is not. That can't be a criteria for good.
True. Yes.
Just because you're doing different thing doesn't mean you're doing good work.
Sure.
It could still be crap.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
No, it makes sense.
And this whole unconventionality of the thing, bringing that to cinema, especially this, when I saw the trailer of this movie, it looks like very, like old time.
It's got that
amazing.
old school feel.
Because the film that RK is making is like an ode to the 50s.
Yes.
Right.
So that film has Gulabo and Naboob and their love story,
Correct.
which is very
Right.
like Wahida Rahman and Guru Dutt
Sure.
kind of a thing.
Yes.
So one gets to pay tribute to what you like also.
What about your choice of actors? Now, in a lot of stuff that you do, we do see, I mean, there's Ranveer, there's
Ranveer
Vinay,
and
that's,
Vinay.
Ranveer has been a constant.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah.
He has been
constant.
constant.
And working with him as a friend and as a director, how does that work?
It's not demarcated like that.
Yeah.
When you work with your friends,
Yeah.
they're your friends anyway. So you can't leave that aside. So your relationship is a mix of the two, but he's such a phenomenal actor.
Oh yes.
He was on the show as
Truly.
well. We had such fun. Yeah.
And I've done 5 films with him as leads, most of them, is because he can be many different things. I'm not saying other people can't, but he has this incredible ability of becoming other people so convincingly and so effortlessly. I mean, he's fantastic.
That's true. I completely agree, and so do I. But yeah, we can talk about that later. But I wanted to talk to you about the fact you did mention unconventionality and all of that. Do you feel that today we as an audience have kind of cerebrally grown up a little?
No. Fair enough. I've been hearing this for the last 25 years. and we've been hoping for that for the last 25
But
years.
it hasn't.
Maybe earlier it was 0.6%.
Why is that?
Now it's 0.8%.
Okay.
Why is that? Is because...
I mean, generally, collective consciousness only requires a big
because
sort of a...
this is lack of education, first of all. In a country where you don't have enough housing and sanitation and food, to expect people to appreciate art is really far-fetched, I think. First you have to look after the basics, and then education, and then higher education, which includes art.
Correct.
When it comes to Bollywood, you, as we've said before, you don't conform to the norm, right? How much of that do you just say, to hell with that, I'm just going to make a kind of movie?
All the time.
All the time.
What I'm making is really mine, and it does not, no other idea comes into my head of who will watch it, or it may not work. These things mean nothing. May not work means what? For who?
For who?
It has to work for me, first of all. For me, I'm my audience first.
Yeah.
And if the film excites me, it engages me, then I'm sure there are other people like me.
And you're not kind of always gunning for like it to be like this huge, mega monetary success.
Not at all.
You're not working on that.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think ever who's going to watch it and how many people are going to watch it. For me, I'll really tell you, Suchi, there are not more than 10 people in this world whose opinion I respect.
Really respect.
And whose love and appreciation I want to gain. There are these 10 people. If these 10 people like it, I'm done.
Your job is done.
I'm done.
Yeah.
But that's beautiful as an understanding. But I mean, talking about your performance as an actor, and every time it is so breathtakingly beautiful. And it's
Very
so
kind.
nuanced.
Thank you.
And it's so layered. And so, what is that method, if at all you have one, that you kind of get into an understanding of a particular situation? Scam 1992, that officer that you played, I never wanted to talk to you after that.
Really?
Because you did intimidate me through the screen, and you did. And then, of course, you had this amazing performance in Bheja Fry, and then I can carry on and on and on. So
And
what is that?
Dasvidanya
And
also,
Dasvidanya, sorry, yes.
and Conform
Conform,
also.
yes. Any other projects that you both have done? Yes.
And a little Milshita.
Yeah, fair
There's so much good work given together.
well
Thank you.
done.
Always.
Wish I could be shaking your hands very soon, hopefully in the near future. But then again, yes.
Can I break this myth? I have no method at all.
Fair.
Zero. The little bit that I do is for the look.
Right.
Which in something like Scam, even that wasn't done.
Correct.
It was just, they gave me a certain, which was correct, authentic,
Yes.
what the costumes they gave me.
Yes.
The look somehow worked. The shoes somehow worked.
Right.
And I had this very small idea that I will play it flamboyant.
Fair.
That's it. And then Hansel let me go with that
Go with
idea.
that.
Right.
So, for example, he enters the house and he's supposed to say, where are you? And this is CBI raid.
Sure.
So I just added a surprise.
True.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's it.
Yeah.
And Hansel allowed me to do that. Rest of it is really the script and the lines that they wrote. You know, all credit to. I always say any good performance credit goes to the director.
Agreed on that. Yeah.
so-
But I mean, since
It's the writing which was good. So-
as a performer, Rajat, there's always a certain instinct within yourself.
Correct. There is an instinct, and you want to play the truth of the moment, for which I think other actors may feel differently. I think you don't need to prepare.
Okay.
It is about being in that moment
totally agree.
truthfully.
Yeah, I totally
Wow,
agree.
that's very interesting.
Yeah. As a director on for stage and as a director for screen, okay, what do you-
Completely different.
completely different.
Completely
Exactly. So
different.
just explain a little bit to the viewers and our.
No, there is the process is different. The medium is different. On stage, you're creating through the actor.
Yes.
In cinema, actor is a very small part of a larger scheme of things. You're creating through the camera. An actor becomes a part of that. So when you're making a film, you're working first with your cameraman, production designer, sound recordist, editor. Actors also, but they're also on stage. Actor is everything, because you're creating space through the actor. You're creating engagement through. You create. Okay, now second thing, the way I do theatre is that we don't have a script. This is what I've been doing for the last 25 years
Yes.
now. Since C for Clown,
Yes.
Hamlet, Lear, and so on. We start without a script. Of course, in case of Lear or Hamlet, you have Shakespeare's
Shakespeare,
Hamlet and Lear
yes, of course.
as a takeoff point.
Yes.
But I have no idea what we're going to do. So you look at the text, maybe you take one scene, or you take one idea, or you take one line or one word, and say, okay, now let's see what we can do with it. So, for example, in Lear, when we are playing, we say, okay, father and daughter.
Yes.
We say blindness, we say loss of power, old age. Let's attack these ideas and see where we go with them. And we start improvising and we start exploring. We really don't know where we're going. So the script, the ready script,
And he says that as much on stage when he comes and he says, "Hey, this is
Yeah.
not planned."
and so the script is ready on the day of the opening night. So because we're making it till then.
It's fabulous. I mean, that is the improv
Yeah.
genre of theatre.
I'll tell you something. For me, the idea of exploration is very exciting.
Yeah.
Even in films. So in films, of course, you have a script, but I decided with my cameraman Rafi Mahmood, who's shot all my films, 25 years back, that we'll never do a short breakdown.
Yeah.
And we've never done a short breakdown. So when we go to shoot, we don't know
very
how we're going to make this. Because for me, the joy of discovering at that moment is phenomenal. If I know everything, then it becomes execution.
Correct.
Then I go there and I shoot what I'd already thought. But the point is that I don't know. And that is exciting. And also I feel when you don't know, you are liable to find something
Yeah.
Which
what
you
comes
would
across,
beyond,
yes,
yes.
your
beyond
thinking cognitive abilities. You know.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
in terms of theatre, Rajat, and film, I mean, how much do you keep going back to theatre for that matter, to kind of maybe draw inspiration as a performer or keep honing yourself or
I
from that
don't
point of
act
view?
much in the plays I
Yeah.
do.
No, I'm saying,
But I direct.
yeah, but yeah,
It's really not.
they're not correlated, but I mean,
No, but I do both simultaneously.
Sure,
So it
sure.
happens all the time.
Sure.
It's not that I'm doing this so that I can gain something and apply it here. No, of course. But then you learn from everything.
Right.
This conversation itself is teaching me some things which maybe become part of they have become a part of me, and maybe will become a part of something I create. You know. So
Correct.
yeah, that
Hopefully
way,
with me in it. Yeah, but then again.
Sir,
Yes,
sir,
very subtle.
Very
Just let me throw that in there. Why don't you just?
like in swinging Yorker bouncer somewhere. I just thought. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, so the joy of theatre is very different from the joy of cinema. The joy of theatre is, as you know,
Yes.
it is there with the
Sure,
audience
sure.
in the moment,
Right.
and it dies after the show's over.
Right.
The joy of cinema is that even if nobody watches RK tomorrow, somebody will watch it 20 years
Correct.
later, you know,
Correct.
and that is very gratifying also.
Truly is actually. Truly is.
What is that one type of movie that you've thought of that you want to make for sure, you know, in your career, which might take a lot of money or might take a lot more time for you to?
There isn't any. There
Really?
isn't any. But there are many stories, many ideas that I want to do. There are many stories I want to tell. But there is no that one thing.
Type.
No.
And as an actor, is there that one type of? No,
There was one 30 years back when Manikal was making The Idiot based on Dostoevsky's book. I wanted to play the idiot very badly.
Yeah.
I was 29 and I really wanted to play the idiot. I was almost going to, but then he got somebody else from
Yeah.
your London. Are you
Bloody English. I know.
Bloody English.
No,
I
you're
guess.
a Pakistani.
Oh,
Yeah. All right.
No, but as far as this particular film that you've made, Rajat, in terms of the fact that it's obviously going to be very interesting, it's going to have a very different premise, it's going to have Ranveer, of course, and
Malika.
you yourself.
And Malika Sharaf.
And
Yeah.
Malika Sharaf.
And Kubra Seth.
And
Yeah.
Kubra
And
Seth.
Manu Rishi Chadda, who's also a very favorite
Yeah.
actor of mine.
Yeah.
So, in terms of this particular the film that you've made and the ones that you've made in the past, do you feel that every time that a new film is going to come out, there has been a certain sense of evolution that has taken place in terms of your processes, which is
Yeah, I'll-
making it finer and
Your,
finer? And
your
finer?
processes get more honed, your craft gets honed for sure. I'll tell you something, my daughter is beginning to write. She's been writing for the last few years.
Nice.
And she keeps sending me what she writes. And she asked me, how's this? And I said, I love everything that you write. She said, is it better than what
The
it was
previous.
2 years back?
Sure.
I said, I don't know. And it's not our job to judge that. Our job is to keep doing it. You can't control. You do it
Agree.
with your complete integrity,
Yeah.
with your honesty, with passion.
Right.
And you do it every time like that.
Yeah.
In spite of that, some things become wonderful.
Yeah,
And
and-
some things are okay, but you know, kuch bana nahi.
Huh.
You have to accept that. As an artist, or as a creative journey, you have to accept that this will happen. And that's a risk, that's a creative risk you take every time you embark on
How
something.
difficult is it for you to kind of always walk away from that and let that be and kind of move on?
It's not difficult.
Not at all.
No. Because especially if I have something else to look forward to,
Sure.
that I'm going to start in 6 months or 1 year. But sometimes the gap between two films is
It's
very,
very
long.
long.
And that can be hard.
A little exhausting.
What about music in the films that you direct?
Last 6 films I've been with Sagar Desai, whom I love very much. He's an exceptional talent. We met on Mixed Doubles, that was his first film. And then Mithya and Fatso and Aankhon Dekhi and Kadak and RK, they're all very, very different kinds of
films, yes.
films and different music from.
Yes.
So he's very good with Western music and with Indian classical, as he did in Aankhon Dekhi. Very, very talented. There are not many songs in these films, except for Aankhon Dekhi. But he's a master with the background.
What kind of musical influences, for example, do you have as a filmmaker? Because a lot of times they tend to kind of filter through or permeate through to the...
I like a lot of jazz and blues.
Nice.
That happens a lot. I'm very fond of Indian classical music.
Right.
Because the first film I assisted on and acted in was Khayal Gatha with Kumar Shani in 1989, which was a film about Khayal Gaiki.
Correct.
So that was my introduction to
Indian
Hindustani classical, and I'm still
Blew your mind.
in love with that.
Are you do you sing?
Sorry?
Do you sing?
I learnt for Khayal Gatha, and I continued for about a year and a half. After a year and a half, my teacher said, please,
नहीं
stop.
यार, what nonsense.
Stop. Really, I'm not kidding.
नहीं ऐसा नहीं हो सकता.
She said, go. I started.
Go.
Yeah.
तुम जाओ.
प्लीज क्लास से बाहर खड़े हो जाओ
मुझे माफ करो ऐसा वाला
Generally, what I tell Sudhi also whenever we should.
मैं गाऊं?
तुम जाओ यार.
मैं गाऊं?
Please, जाओ यार.
मैं गाऊं
प्लीज
नहीं
प्लीज गाइए
नहीं.
Oh, oh.
Closed room.
जितने थोड़े बाल बचे सबके झड़ जाएंगे
But what next, Rajat? I know this is just coming out, and,
super excited about RK release.
Yes.
Super excited because it's coming out in cinemas.
right yeah
Yes.
Wow, I didn't think that would happen. And this is after Aankhon Dekhi, my first release in cinemas because Kadak went to OTT directly. तो अभी तो ये excitement है थोड़ा not stressed about it, but whatever happens now will be great.
Yeah.
And I'll accept it, whatever happens. Because in a way, the journey has been completed. No? Now that people can watch it,
Yes.
whether they do or not is another matter.
Yeah.
But they have the option of watching it. Film has finished its journey. इसके बाद I finished a new film, Suchi, this year.
Okay.
nice
It's called Everybody Loves Sora Bhanda.
Okay.
It's a murder mystery.
Oh, nice.
nice
Who done it?
Who done
that'll
it?
be nice
And everybody's in it, except you. Sorry.
See, and there.
I'm
Look.
so sorry. I'm so
Look.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
He said it. I didn't.
Next
Look.
one.
dude
Okay,
do you
next
realize I'm not even in the conversation with
I'm just using you. Here, I'm throwing the daggers there, but using
it's
you.
hurtful I don't want to be a bouncing
Rajat,
board
I know,
anymore
what is this nonsense? Why are you
I'm so
directing
sorry.
me?
Really,
No,
I'm
about
not
bloody
and what
time,
is
yeah.
why is it that I'm
Bloody
not doing
kisses me on
anything with
screen
you?
and then he doesn't direct me, yaar. What is this nonsense?
I'm
Huh?
so sorry. I'm
Ah.
so sorry.
done with the subtlety here now
I
Rajat
should have brought it up.
We're-
I should have brought this
we're
up.
done with the subtlety but the OTT space Rajat I mean how do you feel about that as a filmmaker,
As a filmmaker, I
writer?
wanted to ask
Do you
that too,
feel
yeah.
that that might give you
When it started 4-5 years back, it was very exciting. But now I
you
think
feel
that
it's just
excitement is less.
getting too crowded?
Too crowded, and again the mainstream cinema is taking over.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
People
would you
excited
like
come
to
to
do
us.
something on the OTT?
As a web
as
thing,
a filmmaker,
My-
as a writer, for example, you figuring out an entire series or whatever.
my mind doesn't work
On those lines.
in a series because I can't think 300 minutes. I can't.
Sure.
It's a limitation.
Sure.
I'm stuck with 95, 100
30
minutes.
seconds.
Before we let you go, your mentors or your idols or who you looked up to as far
Mani
as-
Kaul and
Yes.
Kumar Shani. They're really
Yeah.
two great masters. Mani passed away in 2010.
I'm so sorry.
Kumar is still around, 82 years old, beautiful man, still so passionate about making a film. And it's a shame, Suchi, that he's not made a film in the last 15 years. I think we should all be, as a nation, be ashamed of ourselves that somebody like Kumar Shani
Has not.
has not been given a chance to make a film.
Hopefully,
Hopefully, yeah,
after this,
things
that will
change,
change.
yes.
We will see to it that Kumar Shani makes a film. But just wanted to wish you all the very best, not only for this film, for everything that's coming up. So lovely to talk to you.
Thank you so much.
Love you.
And thank you so much for being on the show, Rajat. It's
Such a
been
pleasure.
Truly an honor, and I
Yes,
wish
hope you had as
all
much
the
fun
best
as
moving
we did.
forward.
Thank you very much.
Godspeed to you.
Now go and watch the film.
Yes, we shall.
100%.
And please take me in your next project.
And me.
And
This was not an audition. Disclaimer.
Yeah, disclaimer.
Here with Sudhi and Suchi.